Good evening, everyone. To continue the topic about communicative competence by Celse Morsha Dernier Thurel's model, the third topic that I'm going to expand briefly is about linguistic competence. Conceived by Noam Chomsky in the late 1950s, the father of modern linguistics, he defines linguistic as the object of the study of the language of speaker. This knowledge is also called linguistic competence, otherwise also known as grammatical competence, relabeled linguistic competence, as it includes lexis and phonology, as well as syntax and morphology. The objectives of this competence is first, define the importance of linguistic competence. 2. Explain the components of linguistic competence. And 3. The application of the competence in the classroom setting. The proponent of this model is Celse Moshe Dernier and Thurel's communicative competence. As we all know, linguistic competence is the knowledge of the language code, which includes grammatical rules, vocabulary, pronunciation, and spelling. It also comprises the basic elements of communication, sentence patterns and types, constituent structure, morphological inflections, and the lexical resources, as well as the phonological and orthographic systems needed to realize communication as speech or writing. These are the five components of linguistic competence. First, syntax. Second, morphology. Third, lexicon. Fourth, phonology. And the fifth, orthography. The first component in linguistic competence is syntax. Syntax, these are the set of rules, of principles, and process that govern the structure of sentences in a given language. It is also the study of sentences and their structure and constructions within the sentence. For syntax, these are the following things to be considered: constituent or phrase structure. These are a group of words that function as a single unit with a hierarchical structure. Word order. The study of the syntactic constituent of a language. Sentence types. These are sentence arrangement of words in a sentence. It could be statements, negatives, questions, imperatives, and exclamations. Special constructions are syntactic strings of words ranging from sentences over phrasal structures to a certain complex lexemes, which includes existentials, clefs, and question tags. Existential are distinctive grammatical structure. It could use real image existence of an entity. When we say clefs, these are constructions which some elements in the sentence is moved from one position into a separate clause to give more emphasis. Question tags. These are grammatical structure. It could be declarative or imperative sentences turned into questions which make it an interrogative fragment. Modifiers and intensifiers are quantifiers which compares and equates. Coordination and subordination are two ways of combining sentences. When you say coordination, two sentences that has equal value, while subordination are two sentences that combines two ideas with one sentence makes the other sentence important than the other. Embedding. This is a process by which one clause is included in another, usually marked by commas. Morphology, according to Yule, 2006, is a study of forms that describes the study of the basic elements used in a language. In morphology, these are the following things that should be given emphasis: inflections, derivational processes, and compounding. For inflections, it differs from derivation but does not change the part of the speech. It could be marked distinction as a tense, person, number, a gender, mood, and voice. Thus, extra letters are added to a noun, verb, and adjectives. making the word form, but it does not change the syntactic category. Derivational processes. It makes fundamental changes to the meaning of the stem. Example, black and bird makes blackbird. This and connect makes disconnect. Directly changes the meaning of the stem. Compounding. These are two words formed together when two or more words that has entirely new meaning. The third component of linguistic competence is lexicon. Lexicon is a word-stock vocabulary of a person or a language. It is also a branch of knowledge in linguistics. Lexicon are language inventory of lexemes. Lexemes are meaningful linguistic unit that is an item in the vocabulary of language. For lexicon, these are the following things to consider. For words, we have content and function words. Content words are part of speeches. Could be nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. Function words are words that exist to explain or create grammatical or structural relationship. Into content words may fit. Could be pronouns, prepositions, and verbal auxiliaries. Routines. These are verbal that occurs at any time a person says the same words. It's a language that is completely ordinary. These are words that are very familiar to our children. Collocations. These are a series of words or terms that co-occur more often than they expected by chance. They often go together. Example, of course, light sleeper, early riser. Idioms. Idioms are phrase or expression whose meaning can't be understood from its ordinary meaning. Example, get off my back means stop bothering me. You hit the nail on the head. Exactly right. A fourth component is phonology. Phonology or practical phonetic studies is the importance of each individual sound of speech and considers the meaning of those speech sounds when uttered in different languages. In phonology, we have two things to consider, segmental and suprasegmental. Segmental is the study of segments of speech such as vowels, consonants, and how they make up a syllable that can be uttered. Suprasegmental. These are prosody aspect. It includes intonations, patterns, stress placement, rhythm, and sounds that extend over syllables of words and phrases. The last component of linguistic competence is orthography. Orthography is a set of conventions for writing a language. It includes norms of spelling, hyphenation, capitalization, word breaks, emphasis, and punctuation. For orthography, these are the following things to be considered: the phoneme, grapheme, rules of spelling, as well as conventions for mechanics and punctuation. Be able to know the application of linguistic competence in a classroom setting. Linguistic competence is not a matter of knowing the rules for the composition of sentences and being able to employ such rules to assemble expressions from scratch. It is much more of knowing a pre-assembled patterns such as formulaic frameworks and kit of rules, being able to apply these rules to make whatever adjustments are necessary according to contextual standards.